everyone. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. This is Shell Point Today for Monday, March 17th. On today's show, we learn about our next Shell Point Cares event, the Scope for Hope Walk. We'll also visit Pakistan and Afghanistan with history professor Adrian Kerr. But first, it's St. Patrick's Day, and that means two things. First, you can pinch anyone who's not wearing green, excluding me, although we won't be held responsible if you do. And second, Shell Point has some fantastic food and entertainment lined up for today. This afternoon, enjoy the musical program From Ireland to Broadway. This interactive performance celebrates the wit and whimsy of Ireland, including jigs, ballads, and love songs. Enjoy this free outdoor show at 1:45 in the administration courtyard on the island. Then tonight, the Crystal Room has a fabulous all-you-can-eat Irish buffet with corned beef and all your other favorites. It's the perfect way to celebrate the Irish in all of us. And then tonight, it's the final event in our Fine and Performing Arts concert series. John Denver came to prominence in the early 1970s, having written the hit song, Leaving on a Jet Plane. As a solo artist, he combined the best parts of folk music, country, and pop, and hit it big with songs like Take Me Home, Country Roads. His music stands the test of time, and you can now experience it live, thanks to tribute artist Jim Curry. Emulating John Denver's unique voice and style, Jim will perform an entire evening of John Denver's music, accompanied by a full live band. You might hear Sunshine on My Shoulders, Rocky Mountain High, and even Thank God I'm a Country Boy. Jim Curry's tribute to John Denver, Take Me Home, comes to Shell Point tonight at 7:30 p.m. in the church auditorium. Of course, the music doesn't end there. Tomorrow, we welcome the duo of Kelly and Shelley as part of our spring dance, which has an Emerald City theme. Enjoy the best dancing, music, and also enjoy appetizers along with the company of your friends and neighbors. The Emerald City Spring Dance takes place tomorrow at 7 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Get your tickets at the Island Service Desk at 454-2282 or the Woodland Service Desk at 454-2054. Also take note of two more remaining concerts. The Southwest Florida Symphony returns next week with a program devoted to Felix Mendelssohn, including works like A Midsummer Night's Dream. This concert happens next Tuesday, March 25th at 7:30 p.m. in the church auditorium. And then enjoy the next concert and conversations event, featuring fiery young pianist Young Attack. She performs on April 7th at 7 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. One final note about our concert series. Because the church auditorium is undergoing extensive renovations this summer, there will not be a summer concert series this year. However, our staff is hard at work planning the concert events for the 2015 season when it returns in the fall. Let's change gears now and talk about one of the final academy classes this semester. It's a two-part history class that focuses on Pakistan and Afghanistan. It begins tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Let's hear more about it.
Hello everyone, I'm Terry Coleth and I'm here with Professor Adrian Kerr. We're speaking about a course he's doing in the Academy on Pakistan and Afghanistan. Thank you for joining me, Adrian.
Thank you, Terry. It's always a pleasure.
I've been waiting for this course. I know you've been back and you've gotten some more information and you're ready to share the history with us in 2 sessions this semester and then to come back and start our summer semester with the most current information.
Yes, it's a 3-part. The first 2 parts are the history, which brings us up to the early parts of the 20th century, and then we have a separate part in May where we focus on the development of the independent of Afghanistan and also the Russian invasion and the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and all those issues and where Afghanistan and Pakistan are going in the next few years.
Fascinating. It just boggles our mind to see how this happened. And history is a way to discover how we got to today, isn't it?
Most of us only know of Afghanistan because of the involvement of the Soviets in the last 20 years or so in our own involvement in Afghanistan. But Afghanistan has a tremendous history. It goes back to Alexander the Great's time, for instance. He came through Afghanistan. Then there were periods where Afghanistan was a dominant empire in its own. Not many people realize that it grew to dominate southern Asia. It dominated parts of Persia. It spread into Pakistan today, and even at one time it invaded northern India. And it's through Afghanistan that we have the Mughal Empire, which is wrongly named, of course, but it's the area which it's the culture that led to such wonderful buildings as the Taj Mahal, which is a fusion of Indian culture with Afghan and Persian culture. So although we see it as three separate countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, it's really only in recent years, since 1947, when India and Pakistan were separated and Afghanistan was separated, that we see them as three separate countries.
That's when Afghanistan was separated also?
Well, Afghanistan was given its notional independence by the British before that time, before the 40s. But until the one time when it was ruled by Britain, of course, it's just one area. Right. And there's a lot of difficulty in trying to keep Afghanistan under control, as the British would say, because Afghanistan itself is a terribly, terribly poor country. Its only wealth is poppy and opium. But it was very important strategically because it was the buffer state between the British, India and Pakistan in the south, and the expansion of Russia, who wanted to keep moving south and take over some of the British colonial area. And so Afghanistan became the buffer state, hence its importance for Britain, hence the two wars that Britain fought to control Afghanistan, unsuccessfui, I should say, because it was called the Great Game, as the Victorian politicians were mapping out different strategies throughout the world, from China to India to the West. This poor country, Afghanistan, happened to be in the middle of two great powers and suffered. But of course, we now know that it was successful. It's thrown off all of its conquerors from the very, very earliest days, and may even resort to being an independent fundamentalist regime in the next few years. So Afghanistan has a repetitive history, which unfortunately many of us have not totally thought through when we got involved.
And the names, Alexander the Great, the Kushan Empire, the barbarians, they're still, they still can strike terror. Just the might of them and the history.
Yes, Afghanistan and northern India were on the Silk trade. The Silk routes between China and Western Europe passed through these Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, as we call them today, but of course they weren't called that. They were tribal areas between China and Turkey, and the caravans would pass east and west, moving goods from China to Europe, and they would pass through nearby Afghanistan, and Afghanistan became a very wealthy, important country in its own right. And as you said, the Kushans expanded down into and took over India, northern India, and they were great Buddhists. They'd been converted to Buddhism, and the notorious Taliban activities in the first part of this century, they destroyed these huge 80-foot-high statues of Buddha in the north of Afghanistan, and that was one of the most serious attacks on the Buddhist culture. And the good news is, we'll talk about it in the talks, that they are now collected the pieces from the dynamiting, and they're now about to start rebuilding one of the two great statues.
Well, we are going to look forward to starting with prehistory, Pakistan and Afghanistan, 2 Tuesdays, the 18th and the 25th, that will leave us waiting with bated breath for May 6th when we hear about current Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Looking forward to it, Terry.
Please join us Tuesday, March 18th, the first lecture, Pakistan and Afghanistan. Sign up at either service desk, or you can sign up right at the door.
In this month's issue of Shell Point Life magazine, we highlighted a resident who tackled her first ever full marathon in January. Our next guest also just finished a marathon at age 71. But next week, she'll participate in a much more meaningful race, the Scope for Hope 5K, which raises money for colon cancer. There's no cost for participating, and everyone who signs up gets a free Shell Point Cares t-shirt. So why is this event so important? Mary Franklin tells us more.
I'm Mary Franklin with the upcoming Health Connections program, a Shell Point Cares program that is going to be very moving, and I'm here with two ladies that will motivate you to get involved and join the Scope for Hope 5K run or walk on Saturday, March 29th, which is a date change, so mark your calendar on the 29th, not the 22nd. We're going to do a bus run to this event, so we're going to pick everybody up on the island at 7 o'clock, Woodlands 7:10, and Eagles Preserve 7:20. And yes, that is a.m., so you have to get up early. We'll be picking you up early and heading out to Hammond Stadium for the Scope for Hope. Ladies, thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having us.
Dr. Gao, you are here. You are the event chairman. And Vera Owens, you are a survivor with a wonderful story, and we're going to get to you really soon. But Dr. Gao, let's start with why you do Scope for Hope and what does it mean for our community?
Well, this is actually all Vera's idea because, you know, as you'll find out, that she is a cancer survivor. And one day she approached me and said, you know, I want to help people. And so the Scope for Hope raises money for people who can't afford it to go and undergo colonoscopies. So as you know, colonoscopies are recommended by as a screening tool for people who are 50 and over. But not only is it a screening tool, it's the only tool that we have that can prevent colon cancer. And with the economy, with people losing their jobs, with no insurance, there are a lot of people who forego their health.
Right.
And so with this program, we can actually help them undergo this very life-saving tool.
And bring awareness to the community, especially to people who are young, maybe not thinking about it. This is a great way to bring awareness. And Vera, I commend you. Most of the times we go to these walks and it's a big corporation or a big nonprofit organization that's putting this on. This started from you, and what a wonderful job you have done.
Thank you.
Thank you. What does it feel to you on that Saturday morning when the crowds gather and you know I did this and I'm making a difference?
Well, I just feel so excited and very, emotional because I just think that the money that we raise is going to help people. When I first found out about my cancer, it was like, I was shocked. I didn't know what to say.
Right.
Then I went to see Dr. Kerr, and she did the surgery and everything. I just felt blessed, and I felt like maybe this is something that God gave me to help other people, and that particular day, I would say almost a year later, I met her in the hall and I said, Dr. God, I would like to see you. And she looked at me, what's wrong? Because she thought maybe I was sick. I said, oh, nothing is wrong. Please come in the conference room. I said, you know what? I want to have a race. So then, we got the race together with Dr. Gar help. Then we got everything start going, but I just feel like it's my baby. Every time it's time to have it, I get nervous and everything. I want all this money to come in.
And this race is going to be fantastic. It's at Hammond Stadium. There's a little bit for everyone. We're inviting our residents and our employees to attend and their family members. They can do a 5K run. Or walk, or they can choose the 2-mile route.
Yes.
And we start and end at Hammond Stadium. Yes. Great location, right, with the restrooms and everything right there. Yeah. And we'll be taking our Shell Point bus. We'll be picking our residents up. And Shell Point residents, you'll be wearing your Shell Point Cares t-shirt. If you sign up and this is your first race that you've done with us, you let us know at the desk and we'll get you a Shell Point Cares t-shirt. And the donation that we are making, Shell Point is making, is through our community thrift store. And we're proud to sponsor this event. And we appreciate it. We're looking forward to it. And it's going to be a great morning.
Oh, yes,
wonderful weather on March 29th. Yes. Well, we hope to have a big busload and lots of Shell Point employees participating in this event. If you would like to sign up, you can do so at either service desk. And again, it's on March 29th. recognize that date change, and we start picking everybody up on the island at 7 a.m. It's going to be a great time. We'll head back to Shell Point probably around 11:30 a.m. And as always, there'll be booths and stuff there. You can get some goodies, and all of that will be there. So we're looking forward to this event. I'm Mary Franklin with Health Connections. Make it a happy and healthy day.
Coming up, we're covering all of Monday's happenings. But first, let's get a preview of this week's Channel 13 radio program, Listening to the Words.
Be sure to tune in this week's Listening to the Words program. It's filled with stories and articles with a lot to say. That includes a 110-year-old survivor of a Nazi prison camp who says whether life is good or not, quote, depends on me. Also, a Canadian visitor who found thankfulness at a Pine Island restaurant where bikers gathered. Also, an 8-year-old boy finds $20 and pays it forward to a soldier who finds a lifetime direction. Also, a Shell Point resident who once sailed his boat across the Atlantic to Ireland. Finally, a grandma who has a belly laugh beef with a young cop. David Howenstein reminding you to tune in to the radio, Listening to the Words on your Shell Point TV, Channel 13, any day this week.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone, and welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley, and this is Leslie Brand, and we're going to go over the activities that we offer for you here at Shell Point today. We're going to start out at 8 o'clock with men's match play, doubles tennis down at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. At 9:15, billiards will be played at the Resident Activity Center. Also at 9:15, we have pottery with instruction available at the Pottery Studio. Also at 9:15, we have virtual bowling. That's in the Resident Activity Center. At 10 o'clock, the men's match play doubles tennis will be going on down at the Woodlands. And the Suzy Q will go out at 10 o'clock to Matanzas for lunch. You do need to sign up for that. At 10:30, the Disciple Men's Bible Study Group will be in the game room of the Woodlands. Then we move to 10:45, where Table Tennis Clinic will be going on down in the Tarpon Room. And our last morning activity today is 11:30. We have a Health Connections class, Specifics and Strength Training. That'll be in the Health Club, and that's currently full. Here's Leslie for your afternoon lineup.
Thank you, Bev. At 12 o'clock, we have Mahjong in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. 1:15, Scrabble at the Library Lounge. Also at 1:15, Table Tennis in the Tarpon Room. And lastly, at 1:15, Tone Chimes in the Osprey Room. The Model Train Room will be open for tours from 1:30 to 3:30. And the 1:45, we have From Ireland to Broadway in the Ministration Courtyard on the island. 1:45, Health Connections, Balance and Mobility Training Level 1 will be in the Health Club, but that is currently full. 2 o'clock is the Beady-Eyed Bead Club in the Oak Room at the Woodlands. 3 o'clock, we have a Health Connection, Pilates Stretch will be in the Health Club on the island. 3:15, the Shell Point Singers Rehearsal will be in the choir room at the Village Church. 6:30, Duplicate Bridge in the game room of the Woodlands. And lastly for today at 7:30, we have with the Fine and Performing Concert Series, we have Jim Curry. It's Take Me Home, a tribute to the music of John Denver. This will be in the Village Church on the island, and a ticket is required. Thank you for tuning in with us today. We hope you have a fabulous St. Patrick's Day.
Hi, happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm Terry Kolath, and I'd like to share with you what's happening in the Academy of Lifelong Learning today. At 10:15, we have a course on iWork, creating spreadsheets, in the Manatee Room of the island, and sign-up is required. At 10:30, the people who enjoy the anatomy of words are meeting in the Oak Room of the Woodlands, and they welcome everyone.
Menus for Monday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is grilled chicken breast with ratatouille and pasta. The dinner special is the St. Patrick's Day buffet for $12.95, and the soup of the day is beef noodle. In the Island Cafe for lunch, enjoy a mile-high corned beef sandwich with coleslaw for $7.25. The dinner special is meatloaf with mashed potatoes and mixed vegetables for $8.25. And the Palm Grill is closed on Mondays. Menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, I'm Randy Woods from the Village Church staff. I find it interesting that we take for granted that we have the Word of God in English, but how we have it is a remarkable story. I invite you to join us on Monday, March 24th at 1:15 here in the church sanctuary for a one-of-a-kind event. We will watch the acclaimed docudrama, The Book That Changed the World, narrated by John Rhys Davies. This film, The Book That Changed the World, is a 2011 Lionsgate video production in which John Rhys Davies leads viewers on a half documentary, half theatrical exploration of the social, political, religious, and historical background and roots for both James I of England and for the King James Version of the Bible, which was published 400 years prior to the events portrayed in the self-same documentary film. During the film, Rhys Davies takes viewers through libraries, churches, castles, and other settings that work into the story. Following the film, we will have the remarkable opportunity to see the Burrell collection of Bibles. This collection will be on display here at Shell Point for this day only, a one-time event. The Burrell collection includes all the major English versions of the Bible from the 16th and 17th centuries. All 27 of the Bibles displayed were printed before 1640. Don't miss this extraordinary event, celebrating the English Bible, Monday, March 24th at 1:15 in the Village Church Sanctuary.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as Tim Stevenson discusses the complexities of today's fixed income markets. We'll get some great news about the opening of the LifeQuest Aquatic Center, and we'll get one last reminder about the good work done at the Shell Point Library. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Monday, March 17th. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.